It's that flow, no, she my flow. Yeah. It's that.
In search of India's football culture with Mumbai FC's Yellow Brigade. Mumbai is a cricket city. Millions of rupees are invested in coaching and facilities, while the 32,000 capacity Wankhede Stadium plays host to some of the biggest international sides on the planet. In contrast, Mumbai FC Stadium, the Cooperage, hosts regular games from India's premier domestic football competition, the I-League, with a capacity of only 5,000. Given that this is a city of over 20 million, the work required to further the culture of the club game in India is clear. As someone currently living in Mumbai, not to mention an Arsenal fan, I was struck by Arsene Wenger's recent comments about football in India. It's a slow process of creating a football culture, said Wenger, also noting that England's league system is 150 years old yet still struggles at times. I expect India to come to the game and I hope it will happen, added the Frenchman. Having seen the development of Japan's league system up close, Wenger speaks from experience. Instead of simply taking the gaffer's word for it, however, I decided to head to my local professional team, Mumbai FC, to see how they are working to create a football culture in a nation where cricket is king. I didn't know what to expect when I reached the Cooperage for the first time. I was late and the game had already started, so I found a queue of excitable youngsters at an iron gate and joined them. Entry cost 150 rupees, about $2, and I was directed to the F stand. Walking up the steps, I was confronted with a sea of yellow shirts. I sat down to the side and took in the beautiful surroundings. The Cooperage dates back over 100 years. The now-defunct Rovers Cup was held there for more than a century, and often featured British Army regiments playing Indian teams until the nation achieved independence in 1947. Given how hot it can get in Mumbai, games tend to be played in the evening under floodlights, while the pitch surface is AstroTurf. I discovered a mixed crowd, one with families, young children, and lots of women. As I scanned their faces, a familiar song emerged from the mass of fans in the lower half of the stand. Then, magically, Mumbai Voicing scored a screamer and the stadium began rocking. Someone lit a yellow flare and the stand became engulfed in smoky club colors, while the crowd cried, "Thoy, Thoy, Thoy, Thoy," in honor of the goal scorer. At halftime I headed over to this hardcore group and introduced myself. I was immediately welcomed into the fold and spent the rest of the match dancing and singing with the Yellow Brigade. It turned out this was the first game of the new I-League season and it discovered the most passionate fans in the city. Mumbai 1-1-0, I was added to the Yellow Brigade WhatsApp group, and familiar football banter began as soon as the whistle went. Step 1 of how to create a football culture already seemed to be in action. Formed in 2007, Mumbai FC is a relatively new club. The city has never been short of football sides, including the famous, but now disbanded, Mahindra United and Air India. But, According to journalist Kunal Majjonkar, very few people went to watch the games, tickets cost only 10 rupees, and no replica shirts were ever produced. Other teams in India have much wider support. Mohun Bagan and East Bengal, both in Calcutta, attract huge numbers of fans and their origins stretch back to the late 19th century. Football has traditionally been popular in Goa too, though previous I-League winners Saljakar FC and Sporting Club Goan both dropped out of the competition ahead of this season due to financial difficulties. At this point, a little explainer is required to avoid confusion. There are two premier football competitions in India, the India Super League, ISL, and the aforementioned I-League. Players turn out for teams in both. Here is a quick breakdown. Formed in 2014, the ISL has 8 franchise teams owned mainly by famous cricketers and Bollywood stars. Teams cannot be relegated. ISL is marketed very heavily and former greats of the game such as Robert Pires and Alessandro Del Piero have been brought in to attract attention. The competition lasts 2 months, from October to November. Atletico de Kolkata are the current champions, while the Mumbai City franchise, not to be confused with the Yellow Brigade at Mumbai FC, also play in the ISL. The I-League, meanwhile, was born in 2002 from the ashes of the former National Football League. It is a 5-month-long contest featuring actual clubs, rather than franchises, and contains some proper old-school rivalries. Teams are permitted 4 foreign players, one of whom must come from Asia. There is an I-League second division, which has promotion and relegation to and from the top tier. The current champions are Bengaluru, while Mumbai FC finished last season in 5th place. The biggest threat to Mumbai FC and other I-League teams is a proposed merger of the two competitions, with the richest 3 clubs in the I-League joining the ISL teams in a top division and the rest in an I-League 2. Currently, proposals do not include a promotion or relegation between the two. Hopefully that's not too perplexing. A confused football structure and the dominant interests of money and franchise-style teams is a sure way to impede the development of a genuine, from-the-ground-up system. This may be why football has struggled to develop in India. With competing leagues and no definitive plan from the All India Football Federation, AIF, the situation seems chaotic at best. If you weren't sure whether your club would be in existence in 5 years' time, would you feel the future of football was secure? I set up a round of interviews at the Cooperage before the next home game against Aizawl FC. The Yellow Brigade lads presented me with a replica Mumbai FC shirt and we chatted about how they've started to build something in their hometown. Robin D. Souza, above, see caption, the ever-smiling pulse of the Yellow Bridge told me, when the ISL came a few years ago, it took away all the attention from the I-League. One of our complaints is that the I-League is not given much importance in the media. There are only a few newspapers that cover it. But we're hoping in the next couple of years, given the merger or whatever happens, that things will be better. The I-League is a full, proper season, and it needs to stay that way. The thing is, if it wasn't for the I-League, the ISL wouldn't have happened in the first place. Chayam, below, a former employee at Mumbai FC and the Yellow Brigade's cheekiest chant creator, agrees. I am an I-League man. The ISL hasn't had a bad effect, because it's encouraged people to want more football. Our attendance is up, partly because of this, I think. This is guerrilla marketing, outreach without the big budgets. It is fans taking direct responsibility for raising the profile of their club, building their own momentum, producing passion and a following. Robin remembers a time before the Yellow Brigade existed, when it was just elders sitting on wooden planks and discussing football. The Yellow Brigade will mention a food that comes from the opposing fans' area, say rasgulla, cottage cheese balls and sugar syrup, for Bengal, and then claim that their street food, vada pav, like a chip buddy, but tastier is better.